Have you ever told yourself, this time will be different? You bought the course, you joined the gym, you made the plan, you wrote the goals, and for a few days, maybe even a few weeks, you felt unstoppable. You woke up early, you moved fast, you believed. And then, you got tired. One stressful day, one late night, one missed workout, one skipped task, and suddenly, the fire was gone. You told yourself, I just need to get motivated again. But what if motivation was never the problem? What if the thing you've been chasing is the very thing that's been holding you back? This is the story of a man who spent years waiting to feel ready until he learned the truth about discipline. And once he did, his entire life changed. In a small apartment on the edge of Dallas lived a 36-year-old marketing specialist named Ryan. On paper, Ryan was doing fine, stable job, decent salary, good reputation at work. But inside, he felt restless. He had bigger ideas, bigger goals, bigger ambitions. He wanted to start his own agency. He wanted to get in shape. He wanted to build something that mattered. And every January, he promised himself, this is the year. New planner, new routine, new mindset. For 18 days, he would dominate. Gym at 6 a.m., work on his side business at night, meal prep, read, focus. He'd feel powerful. Then day 19 would come. A rough meeting at work, a bad night of sleep, a small argument with his girlfriend, and his brain would whisper, just skip today. You deserve a break. You'll restart Monday. Monday became next month became next year, and the cycle repeated. What hurt Ryan the most wasn't failure, it was inconsistency. Because he knew he was capable, he just couldn't trust himself. That was the real damage, not the missed workout, not the unfinished project, the broken self-trust. One night, after scrolling through social media and seeing another former coworker announce their successful startup launch, Ryan closed his phone and sat in silence. Same age, same background, same starting point, different results. And for the first time, he didn't blame luck. He didn't blame connections. He didn't blame timing. He asked himself a brutal question. What if they're not more talented? What if they're just more disciplined? The word irritated him. Disciplined. He associated it with military routines, rigid schedules, no fun, no flexibility. But something inside him knew. The problem wasn't lack of information. He had read the books, watched the videos, saved the quotes. The problem was execution. The next morning, instead of watching another motivational video before work, Ryan went for a walk. No headphones, no music, just thinking. He passed a construction site where workers were already building in the cold. No cheering crowd, no inspirational soundtrack, just repetition, brick by brick, beam by beam. He stood there watching. The building didn't rise because the workers felt inspired. It rose because they showed up, every day, whether they felt like it or not. That image stayed with him. That evening, Ryan sat at his kitchen table and wrote one sentence at the top of a blank page. Motivation is optional. Discipline is required. Then he wrote a new rule for his life. Not a complicated system, not a 12-step productivity framework, just one standard. I do what I said I would do, especially when I don't feel like it. The next morning, his alarm went off at 5:30. His body screamed, "Not today." Old Ryan would have negotiated. Maybe 30 more minutes. You worked late yesterday. You'll train tonight instead. But this time, he didn't argue. He got up. No drama, no excitement, just movement. That day, he worked out. He worked his job. He spent 40 minutes building his agency plan. Nothing extraordinary, but something invisible happened. He kept his word. Day 2, same resistance, same action. Day 7, still hard, but by day 14, something shifted. The internal debate got quieter. The decision got faster. He realized something powerful. Discipline reduces emotional friction. The more he acted without negotiating, the less energy he wasted arguing with himself. Month 1 passed. He hadn't transformed physically. He hadn't launched his business, but something more important changed. He trusted himself again. Month 3, his body looked different. His side agency had its first paying client. Small, modest, but real. Month 6, 2 clients, consistent workouts, better sleep, clearer thinking. People started asking, "What's your secret?" Ryan laughed. There isn't one. There was no surge of motivation, no magical morning, no breakthrough seminar. There was simply a decision. Feelings do not control my standards. A year later, Ryan left his job to run his agency full-time, not because he suddenly felt fearless, but because he had built evidence, 365 days of kept promises. And here's what most people don't understand. Discipline doesn't just change your results, it changes your identity. When you consistently act, you start to see yourself differently. Not as someone who tries, but as someone who executes. Not as someone who hopes, but as someone who builds. Motivation asks, "How do I feel today?" Discipline asks, "What did I commit to?" Motivation is a spark. Discipline is a structure. Motivation fades. Discipline compounds. Right now, you might be waiting to feel confident, waiting to feel ready, waiting for clarity. But clarity comes from action. Confidence comes from repetition. Momentum comes from consistency. The people you admire, they don't wake up excited every day. They wake up committed. So here's your challenge. Not 90 days, not a year, just 30 days. For the next 30 days, no negotiations. When your alarm goes off, move. When it's time to work, start. When you said you would train, train. Even if it's imperfect, even if it's small, even if it's boring. Because boring consistency builds extraordinary lives. Weak discipline creates weak identity. Weak identity creates weak results. Strong discipline creates strong identity. Strong identity creates unstoppable momentum. You don't need more motivation. You need a higher standard. The question is simple. Will you continue waiting to feel ready, or will you become the kind of person who acts regardless? Your future isn't waiting for your mood. It's waiting for your decision.